Okay, welcome back to the Dunhallow Mystery. I'm your game master, Daniel Fox, and we're back for episodes 11 and 12. Did I get that right this time, Mike?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pull it up on my Google Play.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I listened to episode 10 on the way home.
So I thought, yeah.
The last bit of it so I can remind myself where we were at.
It's so handy.
I know, right?
It's so good.
So those who are listening or watching, we actually use an internal wiki to track everything from my own campaign world, and sometimes people write what happened in the last episode from their character's perspective. We'll probably share some of that out here soon once it's cleaned up. Once it's cleaned up and ready to see. But before we get started, is everyone else around the table back to Kickstarter already?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah? All right, good. We're really close. We're at $51,000 now with 13 days to go. So we're getting closer and closer to that kick-ass Dan Mandich spread. And you've seen his work before. He did the full cover of the Game Masters screen, and he did the full spread for the alternative cover for Kickstarter for Zweihander. So we're having him do an alternative cover. Yeah, I'm sure they can't see that, but you've seen it before. But we're doing an alternative cover too for Gauche, or Gauche, as we call it here in Missouri. We're really close to getting that goal. I think we're going to hit it regardless. I mean, we've got 13 days left. There'll certainly be a spike at some point. But what we really, really want to hit, what's the magic number, Mike?
75.
Magic Mike. 75,000. So what we get to 75,000? Anybody know?
Yes.
Fancy books.
Is that fancy dancy books?
That's right.
Fancy books.
That's right. So the
Aristocrat tier.
Right? Aristocrat tier. That's right. So those books, the special editions, will be in red Lexitone. So basically leather, light cover. Gauche will be in red with gold inlay on the front, with gold pages, black end pages inside, and a black ribbon. Zweihander will be a black leather with silver inlay, silver pages, and a red ribbon. And what we're trying to do is get a slip case for both, so you can put it on your shelf and take up like a baby's arm length of books.
Yeah.
Pretty big. Actually, Gauche will be pretty small, but
probably 2 babies' arms.
Yeah, 2 babies' arms. That's right. It's a big book. But we're thinking if we unlock the 75,000, we're going to look at some options to do a slipcase. I think it'd be kind of nice to be able to kind of store your fancy, nice books on the shelf without just banging up the corners. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. 13 days. Who knows? I think in the last Kickstarter we had toward the end, it was a big spike.
I thought so too.
I've only backed a couple Kickstarters, but my observation has always been that people kind of wait to the last minute, should I get it? Should I not get it? Oh, the awesome stretch goals are out, let's buy it. So
yeah,
you can set a reminder to yourself to reminding me in the last 48 hours, and then everyone is like, oh, okay, now I need to buy it.
Yeah.
Now I know it's gonna be funded. I know it's gonna be legit. I know what all the extras are, and I can just make my actual purchase one time.
That's right. That's right.
But don't do that.
No, do it now.
That's right. Do
Buy
it now.
If
somebody asked me in the comments, and they're like, "Should I up my pledge now?" And I said, if you're 90% for certain that you will still want to buy this once the Kickstarter is over, raise your pledge now. Don't do it later. Raise it now, because it gets us all closer to our goal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think just our observation has been that people certainly reduce their pledges over time, but generally, people who are kind of throwing down for bigger bucks and making that charge against their card already likely aren't going to go back on it. So so if you're asking yourself, should I pledge now more money now to unlock that book or later, do it now. Absolutely do it.
Do it.
All you gotta do is just increase your pledge by however much you want to pay for the add-on. I think the book is
which book?
The special editions are 200.
Yeah, the super special are actually
super special.
300.
Is that for the pair?
No,
375
for both.
375 for both. Yeah, 375 for both. Yes. 200 individually, and the MSRP, basically the shelf price, in Barnes and Noble. Keep your fingers crossed. Some interesting news there soon. But the MSRP will be 300 on the special editions.
That's right. That's right.
And we may even do some special signed ones. I don't know yet. There's some other things we got kind of cooked up behind the scenes that we don't want to tip our hand yet, but
I thought the top 2 was 65.
so 65 is the standard edition, right? This guy here,
Okay.
and the new big badass book is leatherbound.
We just those goals just got recently revealed. So if you haven't been on the Kickstarter for a few days, you may not have had a chance to see those revealed.
And there's an update in the
Way to call
campaign.
me out, Ken.
There's just an update in the campaign
It's
where
been
they
a long
break it
week,
down.
man.
What, you been working or something?
Yeah.
Revealing stretch goals certainly increased pledges, so thank you all for
For
not only
special
pledge.
edition.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who's pledged so far. Thanks for those who've increased your pledges. Continue doing that. This is the Jerry Lee Lewis charity drive. It's not actually. It's the Daniel D. Fox and Growing Perilous Studios creative unit, the squad, the gang, the cult. We're just trying to raise some money to make some fucking killer RPGs. So help us out. Cool. So let's get back into it. So the Dunhallow Mystery episodes 11 and 12 we're filming and recording tonight. So what happened last week, Walter?
Boy, why do you got to put me on the spot for that?
You were my sights tonight.
It is. So, at the end of episode 9 into episode 10, we had made our way to Lord Wesley's manor home, and we were offered a asylum, is a better way to put it than actual hospitality. We were begrudgingly allowed to stay there with much misgivings, and the place is in serious disrepair and extensively massive. It stretches all across the top of this rocky cliff, unapproachable by all sides, and it is the biggest castle or home any of us have ever seen by a long way. We unfortunately have run afoul of our hosts through our, very well-held suspicions, and have been asked to rather rudely make our way, where we return to the hamlet and are attempting to figure out some of the secrets of just what exactly is going on and where are they getting their food and supplies. Just what is their game? What connection does the town have to the current occupants of the castle? Is something greater and more suspicious going on? And our Lord Wesley has cleverly attempted to sort of starve them out of supplies, particularly oil, to see what can come of shaking whatever lies deep within that manor house. And we have gathered our feet and hope for another successful day.
So it is midday. It's a few days since you've arrived now in Dunhallow. You have just concluded your trade and barter with Jory Hamfast, the greengrocer. He runs a general store for all the locals. You step outside, it's about midday. A little chilly. It's autumn, of course. The leaves are turning their beautiful, beautiful, beautiful broadleaf trees, turning purple and blue, and some leaves have begun to fall already. But most of Dunhallow Village is surrounded by kind of a thick wood. Or the edges of a forest, I should say. Until you get into the Greylands, if you're heading toward Winterborne Manor. But no less, it's a cool autumn day. A few people are wandering around, attending to duties. A woman with the same school children you saw not just a few nights back, holding on to a long rope, is leading a series of children across the road. 8, 10 perhaps. Varying ages. They seem to be heading toward some manner of school, you would guess. A small stone cottage that would serve as such. All of them tend to wear very drab clothing, dark clothing. Dressed like, if you can imagine what the American Puritans look like, these people certainly look like that. They're very reserved, suspicious. Not many people have been willing to simply talk to you openly by any means. They are perhaps as suspicious as you are suspicious of them. The woman and the children quickly make their way to the schoolhouse.
So we get some, and there was this trail of cheese crumbs, and we follows in. It goes all the way to the little lord's room. I got lit up pretty bad for that one too.
So the consistency of all your stories are.
Lord Wesley, he likes his
Got your
food.
beat.
Oh yes, well, I mean that was my job when I was 5. Didn't pay, but it was my job.
Well, it paid off in other ends. I mean, you remember the box,
Yeah, I got to eat.
but not that box.
Oh,
The bad behavior box. You remember that?
well, that they made you sit in while they with me. Yeah.
No, never mind. You see, my father, he had a box, because most bailiffs have a box. He liked to call it the bad behavior box, and well, he used it as a training tool. As an aristocrat of a lord, I'm expected to act a certain way, and as a child, it's a little hard to do. Well, as a lord, the consequence of my bad behavior was 1 gold crown, because he would denote it depending on the status of your class. So, instead of me paying 1 gold crown into that box, Tuck here would only have to pay 1 brass penny. So then, I buy him some things with the different change, and he takes a couple beatings for me, and everyone ends up happier.
So you were
You know,
getting paid.
well, there was a time when there was some fruit dropped, and he was like, "How much could it cost? 10 copper?" Oh well. So what's on the agenda now?
Well, I'm not too entirely sure. I mean, I feel a bit of... looking around, I feel a little bit out of place. I mean, I'm here in my fancy clothing, and these people are in very much simple attire. I'm curious on whether or not maybe I should see about simplifying it, or if I should continue with fancy clothing.
I perish the thought. You have a reputation in you have to uphold your station.
True.
You can't
That's why I
bring
rather
yourself
hope
down to their level.
to see my father's wardrobe in order to better assess how they dressed.
Was out of character? Wasn't the barrister dressed to the nines?
Right, he was dressed to the nines.
So for your station,
It makes sense. So
He was dressed to the 9s. Gunter is all 6s and 7s.
I mean, and
Aces and 8s.
Aces and 8s.
think of it this way. I mean, how funny would that look if you was walking around in ordinary clothing with your rapier?
it's true.
maybe we should do that, my lord.
I believe the ship has sailed in terms of us staying anonymous.
Maybe
I
Not
agree with the
necessarily
lady on
anonymous,
that
but
one.
first impressions are normally done by sight, right? You see a man across the room, you judge them by what they wear, and then you talk to them and you go, okay, now I will revisit my judgment. And, well, these people will think of me as some unjumped lord or such from Lork, and, he's just some fancy pants, whatever. So I'm just trying to think of if it will garnish me any favor with the locals or not.
You know what? I'd think he was a failure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I shall keep up the original clothing then. Otherwise, we can just relax, I guess.
Do we think we should talk to these monks?
I mean, there are monks, but I don't know if they're planning to be at the...
Village elders. Again, as we've been called multiple times here.
I think we should
city
check in
slickers.
with Mr. Mr. Almstead and see how the arrangements are going, if tonight is actually going to be the night, or if he needed longer. So, I think it'd be good to check in there.
As you wish, one.
So to the
To the
town
town
hall.
hall. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to say inn or tavern because that wasn't technically correct.
Kind of software, it kind of functions as both. As you approach, you realize that, you recognize that. I mean, sure, this building is pretty large. It's made of stone with a low sloped stone roof. There's 2 stories to it, but it could certainly house, probably you would guess, all of Dunhallow inside of it. Should this place ever come under the threat, should iron and horses and iron ever reach this place, they'll be able to take shelter inside here. Not uncommon by any means. You walk inside and you can see that a great number of crates and such are sitting all about. They were not here before. See a few barrels, a few crates, etc., etc.
Interesting. Perhaps they had a shipment in while we were gone.
Dendish, a older fellow with a salt and pepper beard and gray hair. He raises his chin in recognition of you. He wipes a sweat from his brow with a kerchief from his pocket and puts it back in. As he approaches, he straightens his surcoat and buttons his jacket up. His dark black jacket. Where underneath is this kind of sweaty white shirt. Good morrow, he says.
Good morrow, Dendish.
My lord, I hope that you have found Dunhallow to your liking.
So far, I have been rather pleasantly surprised and happy to see what I found. I was able to see my great aunt last night. So,
how fares she?
Well, still ill, but very much alive.
Well, thank the gods.
Indeed, thanks the gods. So, what are you up to?
Tending to work. We just received a shipment. He says with a pregnant pause.
Harvest? Is it storage for winter?
Wheat. Yes. Flour. From Old Lork, he says.
Oh.
You did not see any horses or wagons outside upon your approach.
Any ale make its way up with that wheat flour?
He shakes his head. Nay, we've to Brother Dafid and the monks for our mead.
Mead, ale. All right.
So how goes the planning for the meeting?
All is set. The townsmen will gather here. All of Dunhallow.
Oh, good.
I would assume. I have called for all the notables. So Jamison St. James, Doktor Greystone, Jory Hamfast, Brother Dafid, and myself.
Okay. So we will have those, and because those would be, you say, the elders, the ones that make most of the decisions for the.
Yes, I suppose. They are certainly. They have higher responsibility. Let us say that.
Oh, I mean, it seems like this area seems to almost govern amongst popular vote. Is that right? Or is
the people tend to take care of themselves, but when the hard decisions have to be made, how much flour must be divvied during a hard winter?
Of course.
Decisions such as that, it falls to us.
Okay.
How is trade established? I don't see horses or wagons. Is it by the river? And
an old townsman, a man named Cavendish. He is a trader from here. He traffics the road between Old Lork and Dunhallow.
So if he's wanting something from Old Lork, we can just ask him.
Well, you missed him. You won't find him for another season. Well, I take that back. He walks over to what looks like a book, and he kind of lifts it out, his leather-bound book, and just kind of drops it down, and he flips through it. It appears to be some sort of accounts that he keeps. He's flipping through it. Cavendish has one more visit. 3 weeks hence. He closes the book and puts it back where it was from, beneath the bar.
So more might show up, but more will show up, but no order is placed.
Right, if I wanted something particular from old Log, I'd have to wait until the following season, even if he's still here.
It is true. It will not be long until the rains come.
Right. It is
The rains of Ravania.
that time of year.
Every time.
Every time. Well, at least there's trade, so that's good. I'm glad that at least that much is still going on between that this area is not so cut off.
He looks towards Sir Harrison. You, Sir Harrison.
Good day.
I think you will find that you and Sir Jamison St. James are two birds of the same, a different feather. Or same feather? Which is it?
Two birds of a feather.
Two birds of a feather.
A similar feather, yes. How so?
He too is spurred. Has earned his spurs, he says.
Truly.
Perhaps you will share some more stories with him.
Well,
Did you
it'll be quite a pleasure.
serve? He smiles.
Yes, I did.
You served.
Actually, I served in academy, so to speak.
Ah, I see. Academy. Dendish smiles. You see, as you notice, one of the things you notice about Dendish when you first walked in, or about this place he keeps, is this old beaten war sword that sits above the mantle. It looks like it's rested there for quite some time. Huge, long, two-handed Zweihander. Huge. Well, good for you, he says. Perhaps
That's
you
like a
and
pat on the
Jamison
back.
can share some stories about Academy.
I look forward to such.
I do know, Mr. Kildorf, that those who are coming tonight will be pleased to know that you are here. Your renown is known even this far from Old Lork, he says.
Well then, I'm glad I brought you. I'm glad you agreed to come.
Is there anywhere to maybe play a game out here? Anybody play Blitzball?
Indeed, do you have any sort of like harvest festival or games?
Harvest Festival is not for another month,
Of course,
he
but
says decidedly.
I do like to look forward to such things.
I'm sure you will find it perhaps simple, my lord.
Simple is not a bad thing.
Maybe nothing as exciting as Old Lork.
Well, perhaps not as exciting as Old Lord, but, well, everything is best in moderation. You wouldn't want too much.
For the time being, we're taking a slower pace of life.
Indeed. Enjoying the view, as they say.
Yes.
You're not in any hurry, are you?
No, I plan to be here for quite a long time.
Well, my lord, certainly you wouldn't mind then lending me your people to help move these barrels and crates around.
Well,
If you are not in a hurry.
of course. I mean, you're doing this the service of keeping us here for the next day or so.
You know what the steward says? Idle hands.
What is it? Idle hands of...
Idle hands.
Let's make virtuous use of our time then. I'm all set to go.
Well, you know what else they say? All men must serve. So, I guess we is. What?
All men must serve. Oh.
I thought you said old men.
I thought you said old men too. I was like,
All men must serve.
Yes. yes.
Almonds must serve with an ellipses on the end.
almonds. Almonds, we should serve them.
It's
You
not.
know?
I'm sorry. Okay, let me see if I can get my proper burger accent. All men must serve.
Just roll off the tongue
Tut,
and
he says.
listen to the ear better.
We are all but humble servants in the eyes of the steward.
Yeah, but I know me place.
He says. Dendish says. And with that, you set to help working, moving things around, more or less. It feels like it's like when you go to move a friend at the last minute.
Yeah.
You kind of underestimate the work. Nothing's packed. You know,
Nothing's
It's-
packed.
No one else is there but you. Not even enough money for pizza. No, he will. He'll provide ample mead and bread and soup and turnip soup to break your fast, or to for lunch, or for supper, I should say.
Yeah.
But you will labor. Everybody needs to make a routine toughness test. This is for physical peril. Let's see if any of you fall.
Yeah.
If any of you are fatigued.
He's working us.
58.
42.
Oh,
I got a 44, which is a critical success.
nice.
Failure.
Failure.
Critical
Okay.
failure.
Oh god.
Who do we believe in the group is closest to Madame Krista? Sorry.
Probably the Lord Wesley.
Did you succeed?
I did succeed.
Who failed? Raise your hand.
I critically.
Oh wow. Okay. So for those
You
between
and
the two of you,
you got a back pull.
Reach me back.
it looks like it's going to be tough. Fortunately, in the absence of your strength, Madame Krista is there to help you along the way. So, in this case, only Tuck fails, but Kurt will get to in a second. You will suffer 10 corruption, and you will.
Corruption.
Sorry, peril. Physical peril.
I was like, what are we touching?
10 physical peril. And then, as for.
Sorry.
It's okay. But unfortunately, as for Cole, the work you not only highly underestimated, you dropped a box on your foot.
No.
You will gain 10 physical peril.
Clone.
Or suffer 10 physical peril.
I am now ignoring.
Hard work. 2.5 hours later, you wipe the sweat from your brow, you take a long drink of mead, and you may head on your way before it is not quite sundown yet, but it will be soon. Is there anything else you wish to attend to with the few hours that you have remaining until the town gathers?
I think I will take a short rest, mentally preparing myself.
I will idle here.
I'll clean up.
Gauche?
I'll just
weary feet.
continue
Go
to
sleep.
see if I can be useful and maybe cop a few free cups of mead in the process.
Oh, he will certainly. You will drink as much mead as you like for the work that you've done. At the point the work is done, however, there's not much left to do. Do you wish to continue drinking past that? No? Okay. So you labored for 2. Who drank mead? Okay, I need your first skill test to see if you're intoxicated. Just it's an easy toughness test.
68. Failure.
Oh no, we have fortune points, by the way.
Nah.
Do not forget.
Success.
We need that
Alright.
for important stuff.
Daniel, how what
cares about
level
being
of
drunk?
toughness test was helping that one move where we had to move a piano? What would you say on that one?
Yeah, my shirt was crusted over a sweat salt. That was the worst.
That was a hard toughness test. I just have to
Oh
recover.
no, we have people who are intoxicated.
Yeah,
We had to move a fridge into another house.
It's
and
kind of
then
like
sit
one of
down and
those
after the next
all
one,
day
find out a
drinking
fucking
and
piano.
moving
That's
until you
what
just
it
get
is.
to the point where you're like, it's just too much.
Uh,
So, those who failed, or are you sure? Do you want to take
Yes.
the board? So, first off, you gain 1 corruption,
Alright.
and you suffer 11 physical peril,
Okay.
and you are drunk as a skunk.
Well, then, as you can see right here, I am incapacitated.
Oh, you passed
He
out.
passed out.
So what ends up happening is at some point or another, Tuck finds himself outside underneath a tree with half of a cup of mead spilt all over his lap. So remember, once you're incapacitated, 6 corruption.
That's right. Yes.
Oh man. Sir Harrison, you're not incapacitated, I assume.
No.
Okay. But lit, certainly. So remember, when you were drunk, you will gain +3 damage threshold for 6 hours. And remember, while you're intoxicated, if for some reason you're incapacitated during this time, you pass out. Like Tuck just worked himself to the bone and went outside and drank himself into a stupor, and now the crickets are chirping, and Tuck is out sawing logs out back.
I'm gonna put Tuck to bed.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
gonna
ask.
grab him and take him upstairs.
Look at the stars.
Looks like the little feller's had a little too much to drink there.
Tuck. You'll be in your room, so keep a bucket in your room.
Gaunter, this is hardly ladies' work. Would you mind giving me a hand?
Certainly.
The two of you help him up the stairs. He's, like most drunk people, he's trying to reach toward everything, or he's taking big, long, wobbly steps.
Come on, Tuck. You don't need that sconce. Let's go to bed, boy.
It's not that difficult. He's 5'7" and 127 pounds.
How dry I am!
I love you too, Tuck.
I love you! He's close talking everybody.
Hey, you're the closest thing I had to a mother.
Tuck is put to bed. And remember, Tuck, when you remember when you awaken, you regain no peril.
Yeah.
When you're drunk and you pass out, you don't recover peril for 24 hours.
Right.
You sleep for 6 and you don't recover for 24, so you don't recover. So basically, you spend your next day in a hangover mode.
Right.
So you're completely incapacitated then too? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's not unconscious. He's incapacitated. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The older you get, it gets worse too. I'm sure everybody here can identify. For me, it's like 2 days now. If it happens on a Saturday, my Monday's fucked. So,
drink on Fridays.
People begin to slowly filter in. People, most of them dressed in the same drab, kind of nondescript, simple clothes of the local Dunhallians, or whatever you want to call them, local people of Dunhallow. Most of them, I should know, that most people who are here are kind of a mix of Eridane and Rovanian people. But you can tell, just judging by the way they're dressed and the simple kind of holy symbols a few of them wear on their neck, that they're all ardent followers of the Covenant. Mm-hmm. They believe in the Covenant. They believe in the 3 Covenants. They follow the Librum and its commandments. People begin to filter in. A few familiar faces, several unfamiliar, but there is kind of they tend to kind of stick to themselves. There's kind of this uncomfortableness in the room, particularly because Tuck is not here. You all feel a bit disconnected.
Well,
one could say if you were all here, you'd have a better chance at succeeding skill tests. But because he's not...
and because we made a fool of ourselves and like one of us got drunk and passed out, which somebody certainly saw, I'm guessing.
Right.
So,
we have not endeared ourselves.
Of the people who have gathered, the first that you notice is actually the first person you saw even coming into Dunhallow, and that was Brother Dafid. He's wearing a rough-spun shift, a monk's robe with a hood over the shoulders, and is tied at the waist with a rope. The man is not barefoot, but he has soft shoes on. He is accompanied by several other monks, men and women, all of them wearing tonsures. They have all tonsured their hair.
What does that mean?
It's where you shave the top,
and
you shave underneath.
Okay.
Yep, because it's like the head is considered holy. Like you're closer to the well of souls, so they remove the tonsure the top of their hair. Men and women. The next person you see, of course, is Dendish Almstead, who has cleaned himself up, as has most of you as well. Mm-hmm. There is a water well. There's a well out back you can clean yourselves up with. He is his hair is freshly oiled. The grayish hair kind of turns almost black as he's kind of slicked it back and combed it with a horsehair brush. Mm-hmm. Doktor Greystone, the wiry-looking fellow, who's just kind of, he looks like Lucian Knoll. He's just kind of a funny-looking guy with these octagonal glasses up on the end of his nose, and he's a very queer person, very curious and strange. His manners, particularly, he finds it very, very easily. He finds friends amid the crowd, for he has certainly treated every woman here for the birth of their children, and men for their rheumatisms, and others for bad rotting teeth, others for bunions, some for sickness, and he has certainly even treated those. He's even seen to those who've probably been buried in the graveyard. out in the hills. You see Jory Hamfast, the plain-looking fellow with balding pate, broad shoulders, and broad hands, soft fellow. You had made trade with him earlier today, if you recall, at the general store, the greengrocer. And then you see a pair that could not look that look completely different than one another. The first thing you see, old split nose, Loeg, the forester. He comes lumbering in, and you're surprised he's not carrying an axe, but he is certainly carrying a grudge as his eyes lock with yours, and he finds himself striding toward the bar, shoulder to shoulder with Gaunter. He nods his head, slams his fist on the table like some greasy mammal, and somebody brings over a drink for him. Accompanying him in his wake is the best way you could describe this fellow is he is what you have heard in the city as called a peacock knight. He is wearing bright clothing. He has a helm with a plume upon it. He has carefully slashed sleeves, and he has a sword at his waist. And he walks, kind of striding in like such, chest out, proud, arms in front of him, like he's being adored by all the crowd. And he walks in behind Jory and takes a seat on the other side of Gaunter. He pulls the helmet off. Hello.
Howdy.
He smiles. These broad, pearly white teeth capturing the light of the candles inside the town hall. This must be Sir Jamison St. James. Somewhere behind the bar, there is the red-haired woman, Maude. Is that right?
Maude
Linkhause. No, I'm sorry, not Maude. My apologies.
Are you talking about the?
I'm talking Amelia Almstead. Sorry, my apologies, Amelia. She has very red hair. Other than that, all of the others have gathered in here. You note that the monks who are standing near you call smell of honey. They're apiars, after all. Apiars, that is.
I see.
That is a sweet smell.
Dendish stands up on a chair. All come to calm. All come to calm, he says. And the village falls to a hush. As you get a good look at this man in the light, you recognize that he is a little older than you first suspected. He looks like man looks rough as leather. He has long creases in his face like he was chiseled from rock and over time was weathered. The man is placing probably in his early to mid 60s, you would guess. And he, like a lot of people, has not aged well. But he certainly fits the picture of an old war vet wearing the clothing of a local tradesman. All come to calm, he says. And you can see he's standing right in front of the hearth of the fire where the sword is behind him, so it's kind of an interesting, imposing sight. Lord Wesley Winterborne. He steps off of the chair and drags it, puts it behind the bench. At this point, you all are kind of surrounded by a lot of unfamiliar faces, and given that you've kind of, as you've walked in and kind of made your mark already, there's kind of a weird anxiety kind of bubbling up. All of you need to make a trivial resolve test against mental peril, or against stress rather.
86.
Nice.
40, trivial. 80. Is it secret or just
Trivial.
Okay.
Trivial, so you know. Almost 30.
Sorry.
Oh, I cannot. Nope.
Wow.
Wow.
Want to reroll?
Nope.
You've got fortune points.
Nope.
Okay.
I can see where this is going.
So,
I had a 4.
I hope he realizes that only makes him the third tallest person here. So I kind of make a joke at his aside. I'm using my my dark humor to use guile in replace of my resolve test.
What talent is that?
It's called gallows humor.
Nice.
Yep. Let's see. 0-3. So
Nice!
You didn't
I
even need
really guiled the hell out of that.
So, Sir Harrison, you feel really uncomfortable. It is 3 mental peril and 3 corruption.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see that Sir Harrison's kind of pulling at the clothing on his neck. It's a little hot in here, a little balmy. You feel just a little bit nervous, like your stomach is kind of like feels a little bit sour. So
Pull out a chair, and I guess I step on top of it, if that's how it's done.
certainly, if you wish to do so. Everyone else want to gather near Wesley? We all gather in front of the hearth with him?
I think I'll go wherever Wesley goes.
Just, stand to the side or behind, however it works. If it's near the hearth, we're not going to stand behind.
Yeah, stand in the fire, alright?
And can we assume Sir Harrison's trying to stand in the back?
Yes.
Is he staying in the crowd or behind everybody else?
Behind everyone.
Okay. The fire's really hot here, no wonder.
We don't get out of the
Your back is already sweating.
Yeah.
We're that person in your Warcraft team that doesn't get out
That's
of the AoE. If I'll stand on the fire.
Imagine that Sir Harrison is basically wearing a military coat with buttons.
Oh. So he does more.
A heavy woolen coat that runs to probably the middle of his calves. It is. He looks almost like one of those little. What do they call it?
Toy soldiers?
He has an epaulette and a tassel on the side. He does not have a tall hat. No. What kind of armor do you have?
I don't have armor.
That's right. He doesn't have a bucket helmet. He's just kind of dressed like if you can imagine like a Pride and Prejudice. Like that's kind of how he's dressed.
Like someone who just graduated out of military
Just-
academy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But he has his spurs on his boots, and they certainly ring when he walks across the stone floor of this place. And it is a stone floor.
Oh.
So,
As you begin to gather, we will pause. Because in a moment like this, when the stakes are potentially high, there may be things at risk, we need to do what's called a social intrigue event. So for our listeners, because this is kind of new for some of you, and for some of you around the table it's also new, we are going to determine how all this goes down. Now, even though you are not here, Tuck, you may participate in the out-of-character stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, first things first. Who will participate in this social intrigue?
I don't think I need to. Okay, yeah, I'm in.
Yep.
Okay. So we've
Yeah,
got Wesley. We've got Sir Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
Gaunter. Krista. Cole. And unfortunately, you're not there.
Nope.
Okay. So, that's good. This is where we start. So, if you are all going to participate, obviously, we need to next determine... this is all above board. Now we know who will participate. The question is, and this is all above board, mind you, what is there to be gained in this exchange?
Mostly I plan to gain at least a little bit of favor in the eyes of the people of Dunhallow. I mean, like I was talking earlier, like first impressions, it's kind of important to not come off foolish or arrogant, or like I don't want them to be like, oh man, I'm going to have to like live underneath this asshole for the rest of my life until he dies, hopefully soon. So trying to make a good impression, at least come off at least somewhat dignified.
This may make other social interactions with people of the village easier at some point down the road.
Perhaps they stop looking away and start waiting.
Yeah, establish a foothold, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect to win the hearts and minds of everyone with one meeting.
Right.
But it's at least good to start the narrative to talk to.
Yeah, path to loyalty.
Yeah, exactly.
What else is to be gained?
I hope to find out if they know more about the Wesley's Manor home than they're letting on.
And the income of the village. They got this giant shipment in, but we're not seeing trade go the opposite way. We're not seeing this trade. Where is the trade? I mean,
What's the GDP around here?
What is the GDP of Dunhallow?
Well, I mean, if they're getting these large shipments of food and supplies in, they have to pay for it somehow, right? And, we're being told that the estate is in, default or it's fledgling. Yet, that was a lot of stock.
That's right.
And I figured that there's some trade, especially with the brothers and the meat and stuff like that. But, it's like, I need to get the feel for the town.
Regional trade as opposed to just local.
Fair. Okay. I think that's enough.
I'm sorry, I was reading something while you were talking, Michael. I apologize if you said it, but the Grolstetter situation.
I was going to get to that too. Potentially, what the problems are of the people.
Walter, would you pop, please?
I need to fill up my quest log with, fetch logs. Like, hey, go grab me 2 chickens.
Bring me 2 chickens to level up.
Right.
What starting town were you in?
Dunhallow.
I think most of these people are the starter town is Dunhallow.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
They
all probably con gray. Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to move to the next step, which is, what do you feel above board is at stake? What is there to be risked or lost?
The opposite, right? Of what we lose respect, and then interactions with the people are much worse.
Lose face.
Right. Yep. Because we're trying to... I mean, ideally, this is not just some temporary, hey, I'm just here to be a lord for a few weeks and then I'm out. We're trying to set up relationships for long term, so this could potentially have long-lasting effects of negativity. The first time I saw this guy, he was just up there, fucking jackass, and just telling me I'm a lord over you and blah, blah, blah. That's the way they took it.
I mean, he got on a chair.
Right. He's standing above us.
He's got a chair.
He's got a chair. Oh, God, he's got a chair.
Oh, no.
And it has a back.
What's he going to do with the chair?
Why does his chair have a back and mine doesn't?
That's right. I will sell backless chairs.
Also, it might be a lot harder to get that kind of information if these people, I think, know a lot more than they're willing to tell, and they could clam up even further.
It's true. And one could even surmise from your interaction with Dendish earlier that he was cold at best.
Yes.
Right.
Are you in?
So, he gives me, the modicum of his respect, because history with my family, but he doesn't know me.
That's right.
Right.
So, anything else you feel is at stake?
The trust, honestly, as to whether we are their suspicions are verified.
Mm-hmm.
We're a bunch of city slicker idiots that,
or if we have.
We're going to come here and tell you how to run your town.
Yeah.
Certainly make gathering any further information about the manor and what's going on if they're even more difficult, if anyone does have any knowledge.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to go around the table and select a social tactic. So a social tactic is going to be a skill that will be used as a kind of a underpinning of your interaction with the people. Your choices are bargain, charm, guile, interrogation, intimidate, leadership, and rumor. So most of your fellowship-based skill tests, with the exception of intimidate and interrogation. So we will start first with Wesley. Which social tactic will you choose?
I would say more or less rumor.
Rumor? Okay.
Yeah.
Sir Harrison?
Leadership.
Okay. What about yourself, Gonter?
I think I'm going to subtly and only when needed utilize intimidate.
Intimidate? Okay. Okay. What about yourself, Krista?
I'm going to lie to them about details of the manor house to see if I can fish for them knowing the truth.
So guile.
I'll use guile.
Okay. What about yourself, Cole?
That only leaves the one guy.
You can choose the same
You
skill.
can double up.
You can choose the same skill social tactic.
We already know that has negative
It can.
effects.
It's either
Or when somebody fails, you can succeed.
Or you could choose a skill that doesn't go over well.
That's right. Remember, these social tactics, whether you succeed or fail, it doesn't matter too much.
just change their disability.
We'll talk about how that works in just a few moments, though.
So we're relegated to those. Could I use education to just start going by the books on numbers? Like, how are these numbers happening?
Well, that would be interrogation.
That is.
Yeah.
I thought that's what.
Or bargain. Actually, probably bargain.
more bargain to do that.
Yeah. You can choose whichever you like to do, though. Because education is not a fellowship; it's not an interaction skill.
It's not. I know,
right?
but that's what I'm trying to get at. I want to know the heart of the matter.
Right.
Where's this? Where's the income? And
so interrogation
why is the
probably
manor
be
house
the best choice in that case.
Why is the?
Is that what you want to do? Interrogation.
Yeah, it's going to be interrogation. I know it's going to be a
okay.
favorable
So
skill.
I'll be using stealth.
yeah, right.
Where'd he go?
Okay, so
You succeed.
that's right.
Even you're not aware.
So
you're
you're an aristocrat and your order
Yep.
aligned.
Yes, I am.
Harrison, what is your social class? And,
Aristocrat,
And
and
you
I
order
am
chaos.
order aligned.
okay, Gonter, what's your social class? And are you order or chaos aligned?
Oh, I am lowborn, and I am order aligned.
Okay, Krista,
I am a burger, and I'm order aligned.
Double that.
Burger, perfect. Okay. So what we do next is we will actually dice. You will roll dice to determine what are called temperaments. Now, temperaments basically are it's the since social interaction social intrigue is not success or failure. You're basically dicing and determining my group's temperaments, how they're going to interact with you. And the results of your dice will generate different temperaments. Those temperaments will help guide my roleplay. So, Russell, you chose Rumor.
Yep.
You are order aligned.
Mhm.
Your chance is a routine Rumor test.
50.
Buoy.
It's a 77 critical failure.
Off to a bad start.
Yikes. Okay.
I think that we made a bad impression the first couple of days, and I think this is sort of that coming home to roost. Is the way I'm saying this.
It's I need to roll to not get infected. I'm infected.
Sir Harrison, your chance is also routine.
Routine, so that's going to be a 60% chance to succeed. And I rolled a 47. Success.
Okay. Gonter, your chance is easy. An easy intimidate test. But you must flip to fail because it's a disfavorable skill.
Okay.
Easy to
Yes.
flip to fail.
They do not interact. They do not basically what this means is I have chosen before this which skill is not favorable in this interaction. Intimidate is that skill.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your result.
11. And,
Oh, crit success!
critical
Nice.
Critical success.
Whenever you critically succeed a test in a social intrigue event, it basically, because they have a disposition themselves. They may be polite, indifferent, impolite, unfriendly, hostile, helpful, friendly. Basically, you treat your result as if they're the best disposition possible. So, very, very good. Oh my god.
It worked.
Yeah, because it kind of cancels your bad out.
It doesn't. Remember, this is
doesn't
not.
cancel,
It is. They're
right.
just canceling. You just can't. We're just determining temperament. So, Krista, yours is going to be routine, a routine guile test.
All right. I got a 62% chance. I rolled a 29, so I succeeded.
And Cole, yours as well will be routine interrogation test.
Okay. Mine is a 56.
Let's do it.
And I rolled a 34.
Nice. Okay.
The way I've been rolling.
So for the listeners, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight what just happened. They have generated a series of temperaments or personality traits for me to lean on during the interaction. Those are mistrustful, loyal, terrified, trusting, and broken. So these are the things I will lean on. Now keep in mind, your dice rolls don't determine success or failure at all. It just determines like how they choose to interact with you. So when we pick back up out of the mechanics and begin role playing, because this is going to be just right back where we're at, I now have kind of my North Star. Your North Star is your social tactic. That means when you interact, like if you kind of are confused on what to do, just look back. Remember, your social tactic is what it was before. That's the way you should probably lean during the interaction. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily mean it's one path, but consider that. So, with that, we move into the social intrigue event. Lord Wesley steps forward, stands on the chair in front of the fire, and then...
Good evening, good and gentle people of Dunhallow. It is truly an honor to finally meet you all, as I will bow before them.
Yeah, woo! You hear somebody from the back of the crowd. Some kid. The others kind of look at him with daggers in their eyes, you know, to quiet him down.
Thank you.
I clear my throat.
The woo girl.
My entire life I have heard stories of Dunhallow, the manor home, and of this great barony. And so it is truly, like I said, an honor to meet all of you finally for this first time. I hope that we can all work well with each other in the future. I hope to come to know each and every one of you individually. I hope you come all to know me and not here just think of me as some far-gone Lord of Old Lork. But as hopefully your future Baron.
Pray tell, one of the men calls out. Who is your company you keep?
Let me introduce you to these. This here is Sir Harrison Claviger.
Let's give a salute.
Yeah, your hand kind of shaking like this, trembling as he's still suffering from stress.
And then this here is Mr. Cole Marius Jr. And then I'll go to actually Gunter. And this is Gunter Kilgorf.
The famed Gunter.
The famed blitzballer. And last but certainly not least is Madame Christoph Wolfeather. If I got that right.
What is the little one? One of the men says.
Took a bit ill and he is resting up above.
One could say he's tuckered out.
Multiple.
That's not here to do it though.
I would make that joke if I actually thought of it. That's actually rather.
He is in fact tuckered out.
Right, he is tuckered out.
Yeah.
There is kind of an uncomfortable silence among the people.
Some of you I have already met. Had the great pleasure of doing that, but others of you I have not. So, about how many people are here in this?
About 40 or 50.
So
quite a few faces.
Packed house tonight.
Well, indeed.
Come to see the stranger.
Well, so I believe it'd be best if, you know, my party. If there's any of you who would like to introduce yourself, I would much be inclined to do so.
Yes, my name is Doktor Greystone. We've met before.
Ah, yes, Dr. Greystone.
Yes.
Thank you.
I treated this man's injuries. He steps forward out of the crowd. He was victim to the worst sort of person. Bandits.
Indeed.
Highwaymen. There's kind of a weird hush over the crowd. There's a murmur among them as rumors of bandits and highwaymen is quickly spread throughout the group.
It is true that we were set upon, not just short outside of Old Lore, but once we received ourselves at the crossroads and fast upon that, we came upon no one. So, fortunately, that still is quite near Old Lore and nowhere near here.
They paid me in crowns, Jory says. Big ones, he says, kind of wide-eyed, smiling.
Indeed, and I hope in our future endeavors all will be able to bear much profit from our future dealings.
And what good will coin do? The
What?
knight says, who's at the bar.
What was
He
that?
walks forward. Ching, ching, ching. It's Sir Jamison St.
I
James.
said that.
Long, flowing blonde hair that cascades to his shoulders. His shadow, the great lumbering short fellow Loag, follows behind him.
Well, from my understandings, there is a man named Cavendish who often will trade between here and Old Lore. If coins come in people's hands, well, goods can then be procured.
Do we appear to be poor to you, Lord Winterborne?
Well, you seem to be quite simple and good folk, but,
Oh, so we're simple, is what he's saying.
well, there is goodness in simplicity. For in extravagance, there is much waste.
There is an air of mistrust among everyone. Your words are not going over well at all. They do not seem trustful of you whatsoever. Lord Wesley looks like to be in a pickle. Someone needs to speak up.
I dare say that ascending the hill, I must disagree with my lord's take, for the manor home was built by many hands, and even in the densest and thickest part of Old Lork, I've never seen anything like that. You have clearly a structure and a wonder that the whole world would behold with wide eyes.
Truly, even this town hall. Beautiful. Stone floor, several stories, sturdy. I stomp my heel on the ground.
And that mead that Brother Dafid and the other monks brews top notch. I can vouch for that, and if you need any more proof, which I know you don't, but if you do, you can go upstairs and find old Tuck. He's passed out from overindulging himself a little bit.
A few people are kind of awestruck as Gaunter speaks, and a few of them take a step back. He is by far the largest person we've ever seen. He can extend his hand out with his missing fingers.
That's an endorsement from the famed Gaunter Kilgore.
Are you saying that Lord Wesley Winterborne is your favorite shop in the Citadel?
Yes, that's a very good Mass Effect reference. Sounds like you don't like Arturian guests. Not Canadian enough. Sorry, guys. Rogue.
So what have you brought to here, Lord Wesley? Someone calls out.
Sorry, what do you say? What have you brought?
What have you brought to us, Lord Wesley? Why have you come?
Well, I had heard tale of a letter of that my great aunt has become quite ill, and I had, well, great concern for her health and, well, what that would mean for the barony.
Your watchman certainly has been poking about.
Well, I mean, people are able to do as they wish, but I mean, it is good to keep an eye on things. Surely that is what Sir James St. James is for, right?
Do you have something to fear from us? Sir Jamison St. James calls out, his eyes meeting Cole's.
What? What would we fear you?
You've taken about quite an inquiry in the past 48 hours since you've arrived.
That is what my lord has hired me for. To assess the barony and see why. It seems we do. There's brisk trade, and the woods are deep and vast, and the river is there to send the wood down to Old Lork and to the crossroads, and yet the barony is in disarray, and the barony is not existing, really.
There's no disarray here. One of the people calls out.
We mean no offense by
No.
any
Not
inquiry.
I didn't say anything of the town. I mean the household.
Oh yes.
So the household itself is, and that's what I'm saying. It seems seems there is commerce, and it seems everyone here is well suited to the task that they are doing at hand. From the mayor to St. James, and I will just look at the woodsman and turn away, to the doctor. Everyone seems to be doing what they're supposed to. The woodsmen are doing their job, and the trade is brisk, but the manor house is falling apart, falling within itself, and we're just trying to figure out why. That is why I'm asking questions.
A few of the people kind of nod among the crowd. They seem to be split.
We hear rumors of these Gralsteaders on the border of the barony, and yes, we were accosted by bandits. It seems to me that this barony is the leadership is, no offense to any of you, but the Baroness has had a laissez-faire approach.
I would dare say the Baroness has had a laissez-faire approach her entire life, Sir Jamison says, as the few people who are surrounding him are laughing.
Well, we intend to put things in order.
And that requires
Cooperation.
questions, that requires assessment. That is why your man, Loag, I was trying to assess the barony. Assess.
For all we have
I
heard,
don't mind Loag, one person says. He's as dumb as a stump.
For all we have heard is rumors.
Such friendly folk.
So that is why I wish to hear it true from you. All you here obviously carry a great care for a great deal for this town, and that's why I will want to hear from you and take care of what you care for.
Every time that Wesley speaks, the people there's like an uncomfortable silence.
Chirp, chirp.
Almost like his words don't quite carry well with them.
Yes.
The weight of them are not, basically his words are not landing on them at all.
As my lord was saying, I mean, the town and the people will come first, but we do need to make sure that we can restore some abilities of the manor house and abilities of the barony itself. We need to figure out what's going on with these Grolsteaders and why is trade so lax? With trade brings prosperity to everyone, not just his lordship, but to all of you.
A few of the people part out of the way as Brother Dafid and the other monks kind of approach. Brother Dafid is a very small man of uncertain years. His monk's tonsure is well kept, although his monk's robes, as simple as they may be, are they have sweat all along them, and you can see beneath, as he moves beneath this shift, he looks kind of wiry strong. There's plenty of trade already made here in Dunhallow, he says, kind of a harsh whisper. We did not have the opportunity to meet when you first came, but you made your presence known here. I would not speak for all people, but I will certainly say some have come to us with concerns. It is not often that those, and you will forgive the term, outsiders, come bearing steel and making inquiry into our simple home.
I don't bear still, and I've spoke to 2 people.
Sir Harrison shifts uncomfortably on the stove.
You will find in Dunhallow that the people here are tightly knit. We have nobody else but ourselves. We have been able to survive on our own without the baronets for quite some time, and even before that we have gotten along just well. Rumor has a tendency to spread very quickly in a small community like this, as I'm sure you can imagine.
And I would agree that those are rumors, because again, I've spoke to 2 people, one of them being Loag. The other one being the doctor.
You can plead your case before the people. I am simply telling you what I have heard. You don't need to justify yourself with me. I am simply telling you what the people have said.
Brothers, would that be the appropriate way by which you would be addressed?
Brother Dafid is fine.
I'll refer to the whole group of them.
They nod.
Brothers, what you have here is much like Dr. Greystone, but of a different type. I treat manners of the blood. And what this community has is this is a strong arm, a strong, healthy arm. However, if the heart is diseased, eventually that disease will spread, no matter how hardworking. And sadly, my lord's home is diseased.
Indeed, you speak true, Brother Dafid says. The other monks kind of nod in agreement. You are not from the girdle, he says, carefully kind of dancing with his words as to not offend you.
I am not so easy to offend, and no, you are. Your observation is correct. I come here because, and my lord comes here, more importantly, because he was asked. His words are true. I know that we seem strange to you, but we have been upon the hill, and things are amiss. I'll sort of scan the eyes of the crowd, like it seems so queer and strange that but 6 people would exist in such a vast home and occupying only the western part of it. Let's see if anyone reacts.
Dendish kind of steps forward and says, "'Twas I who called Lord Wesley here, knowing what has transpired in his own home. As you all know, I was close friends with his uncle when we were young, little Lord Charlie, and his father as well. I called him here to help set things right.
I'll go ahead and step off of the stool as in
Sure. These people mean you no harm, Dendish says. Lend them your ears. Give them your hearts. Open your homes to them. Be kind and fair. They will certainly return the same. If they are covenant-fearing men, and they know the word of the steward. Dendish kind of steps aside.
Because I have my holy symbol outside my
Certainly.
I'll look about confused by being referred to as
Command.
covenant-fearing men.
Well, Mr. Almstead, Brother David will say, not all who are amid the company are menfolk, as much as our monkshood is not all menfolk either. Nonetheless, I agree with Mr. Almstead in this regard. And certainly, what Madame Christa speaks to is true. Something is amiss in Winterborne Estate. But it is not our place, Sir Jamison St. James says. What are we but ants before the boot? What are we, aside ourselves, here alone? What has the Winterborne family done for us? Nothing. We have survived on our own for generations, he says. They live in their castle on the hill. It might as well be a world away, he says. As he speaks, the plumage on his hat kind of bounces back and forth. I disagree. Then they begin. Then the crowd comes into a murmur as they're talking amid one another.
I'll try to listen in.
Well, there's just general disagreement among them.
Murmuring.
I think, Madam.
Nothing nefarious to be revealed. Eavesdrop is what I'm saying.
No, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything.
No, it's kind of like what?
I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
I think our madam has hit on a point that we've discussed within our group, and the Lord is very concerned of. It is this heart, the grove of the iron trees, the reason the barony is here. These are the things that we are trying to assess, and you're right. Maybe in the last decade or two, the Winterborns have not been here, but this Lord didn't know that this was going on. He was only informed of this several months ago, and we made haste to get here to help. That is what a true Lord does. So St. James, you should know this. That's what a true knight does.
Certainly.
What is your knightly duty?
My duty is to protect the community.
And that is what the Lord is supposed to do too. Is it not? Did you not earn your spurs the same way that he earned his lordship?
The lordship is not earned. Spurs are.
A lordship is not earned.
The lordship is given through birthright. A knighthood is not.
No. Lordship is earned. The gods give to the noble. Is that not what the steward says?
Not these parts, he says, laughing, chortling as he picks up his mug of mead and drinks. Loag kind of has his back to the crowd and has said nothing, but there's some disagreement amid the people as to whether or not Sir Jamison St. James should be believed in this regard, but some others are kind of nodding in agreement.
Sir Jamison, I passed through the portcullis. That manor home up there. Saw signs of war. An age ago, long past. But this land is no foreigner to warfare. Indeed. The very forest, the lifeblood of the trade in this area is ironwood.
Indeed, he says. Go on.
If war were to ever strike the girdle, this place would be a target.
War has come to the girdle, boy. Perhaps in your academy, you do not remember the girdle has been embroiled in war for years. We have been safe here. Men before me, brave women and men, we are blessed with isolation. So what wars happen on this land or that, and Aglador, the bastard king, and the unifier, who gives a good God's damn?
What say ye of the Gralsteaders knocking on the edge of the barony?
I've seen no iron among them, or ire from them either.
Outsiders still, tickling ever closer to the border. It wouldn't hurt to get, an understanding about what's going on, an understanding between the village of Dunhallow and Gralstead, and Gral's Den.
Perhaps you are right, Sir Jamison says. It is a good thing you are the bravest among us, that you will gather you and your host and go to implore the Gralsteaders to come to some uneasy peace with us, to simply walk away from the Ironwood. Is that what you intend?
We will think on it.
And what doesn't happen? What will you do then? Will you bring war to Dunhallow? Do you have delusions of being some great war hero?
I don't aim to bring war. I aim to prevent it. Preventative measures. The gaining of knowledge. If we have a possible foe right on our doorstep, there's something to be done. There's knowledge that needs to be gained. If preparations are necessary, we should know.
Sir David steps between Sir Jamison and you. Calm yourself, good Sir Knight, he says to Sir Jamison. Listen to this man. He may be younger than you, but he is right. Harumph, Sir Jamison says, as he picks up his cup and drinks.
Master Cylinder.
I give him a bow in deference to his age and experience.
He will nod.
I am no soldier, but my mother had a saying that you cannot, no one can strike until they are within fist reach, correct?
Go on.
And they are within fist reach, just because they have not struck yet.
I do not wish for any war. I'm not a fighting man. I do believe there are means to peacefully coexist, or at least come to some sort of understanding.
Harlan Pike is a cad, one of them calls out. An up-jump peasant who believes himself a knight, someone says in the crowd. Well, he's got the Gralsteaders here, another one says. Foreign barbarians! Keep him out! No telling what gods they'll bring with them.
That's kind of funny, because the way James over here likes to tell it, got nothing to fear from him. The way he speaks, they may as well be allies. I mean, hell, who knows? They may be his. And a knight who's operating without a barony to rein them in, who knows what kind of a deal they got struck. Shoot.
Mr. Kilgorf, you may disagree with Sir Jamison, but he has earned his title.
How he earns his pay is what I'm concerned with.
Perhaps it is your misunderstanding, Dendish says. Your labors are paid back by the goodwill of the people who provide for one another. We do not have a living wage as you would find in Old Lork. We do not do jobs for pennies and brass. We do not beg for coins in the streets. The people here have everything they need. Food, shelter, faith, family. The 4 pillars of the covenant are here.
Fancy swords, helmets with exotic feathers hanging out of them, sashes.
You will do to watch your words, Sir Jamison says. Calm yourself.
Come down.
Brother David says. Brother David tries to calm Sir Jamison.
That's pretty rough.
I was thinking the same thing, though.
Well, Jory Hamfast steps forward, wringing his hands. It's not to say that we couldn't be more profitable, of course. Master Almstead, we've certainly spoke about this before. There are opportunities in the northeast, in Gral's Den, he says. And we use his hands together.
An olive branch. Intriguing. What say you, Lord?
I mean, I would like to hear more before making any sort of decision, but you believe there's trade to be had between the two? Us and them?
Well, Jory says, I didn't mean trade in the traditional sense. I mean, after all, the sanctuary does belong to the barony. What right does the Greystone have to even occupy it?
So, do you have anything to offer if we were to entreat with Grall's Den?
There's kind of a uncomfortableness among the people. I do not think we mean to entreat the Greystone. Perhaps you will cleave at the matter in hand, my lord.
Sorry. I think we will need to know more. I definitely wish to go and speak to them at least, to see what their disposition is, as well as hear more from you on your thoughts and everyone else's here's thoughts on them.
And what would you do if they feather you with arrows upon your approach?
Well,
do you know how many Greystone are out there?
No.
Sir Jamison says if he's about to answer the question he just asked.
No, how many Greystone are there?
Do you?
A fucking lot, Loeg says.
But I thought they weren't armed, Loeg. No
Nor
iron.
carry any ire towards the barony.
Greystone are... You can't trust... Sorry, my apologies. You can't trust Greystone.
You just said a few minutes ago that they weren't armed and we didn't have to fear them.
They're not fucking armed with swords and knives, but they're in a whole damn place full of ironwood. What's a man do with ironwood? He turns it into a bow, and he kills his enemies from afar like a coward. The half-breeds, all of them. He spits on the floor. Please, 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 Dendish says.
What's my concern is something that who's the goodsman, the market?
Oh, Jory Hamfast.
Mr. Hamfast, Master Hamfast, as it would be.
Jory, please, he says.
Jory, then. We have a question about the same thing. The ironwood is part of the barony. It always has been. Yet we've been told that it's not.
The only one who can give you the right of that is Master Hugo Downing, he says. Master Hugo and Lady Linkhouse.
I'll look around to see if she's
Take
here.
of that what you will, he says.
I'm going to take a look around to see if Lady Linkhouse is here, because she said she might show up.
Go ahead and make an awareness test. This test is routine. What? Where they at?
55. It's a 76. I do not succeed.
You want to reroll?
Do it.
Sure.
Oh, you don't leave me some misfortune points?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, cool.
All right. So 55 again. That's 07. I succeed.
You spot her in the back. There's no mistaking her.
I do believe that Master Downing is researching this issue quite thoroughly, and I do hope in time that we can come up with very good evidence that the sanctuary has and always will belong to Dunhallow, and that should these men offer any foul resistance with iron or with iron wood, that we will have good claim with the lords above to rout them out.
Master Dendish, Maude Linkhause says. She walks between the crowd with a long... She's all arms and legs. She is dressed in a very fine, tall dress. She's very tall and lanky, and she has a dress that goes all the way up to her neck with a ruff around it. I have asked you for a quorum for nearly a season, with inquiry about Cavendish and that damned hellhound. And it takes a lord for you to all gather? When you still house this dangerous beast in Dunhallow? I demand justice, she says, as she pounds her hand into her fist. Lord Winterborne, she says, she turns toward you. You and your mystic And listen good, folks. Listen good, all of you. This woman here, she says, kind of holding her hand out, saved the life of the Baroness just the night prior. Taken with fits, she gesticulates with her hands. She's threatened to death. Madame Krista, Maude Linkhause steps beside her, pulling her forward, almost putting her arm around her. Saved the Baroness's life from one of her shaking fits. If it was not for Lord Wesley and Madame Krista and these other good gentlemen, the Baroness would be dead.
I want to look over the crowd to see how people react to this.
Yeah, I would too.
Roll a scrutinize test, Sir Harrison.
Okay.
You're kind of trying to getting a gut instinct thing on this. Do you have a skill rank?
I do not. I can't assess.
Difficulty?
It is going to be secret.
Okay. 47% chance to succeed. And I rolled a 6.
Oh, good.
Would you like to keep that?
Yes.
You get a read on the people, and there seems to be some mistrust among them, toward Maude Linkhause. They don't want to give her the floor.
Okay.
After all, she is
A woman.
Master Hugo Downing.
But
Not a woman, but she's Master Hugo Downing's assistant.
No one's looking askance at the mention of the Baroness herself.
No.
Okay.
No. If it was not for her, these fine gentlemen, the Baroness, God bless her soul, would have passed. I beseech you, Lord Winterborne, as she holds her hand out and walks toward you, bring justice for the Baroness. Hear my plea. Dendish steps forward. Woman, we've no need of your troublemaking here. I demand justice, she says. I have asked for quorum. And she begins to quarrel with the people. The people begin to quarrel with her, I should say.
What justice for this hellhound? Is this the hound that bit the Baroness?
The houndsman has left Dunhallow, with his tail between his legs, yet he returns twice a season to make trade with Old Lord. Cavendish was the kennel master. The hellhound was his dog. He shall be held responsible for the dog's bite. It is the reason why the Baroness is sick and why she is taken to the shaking fits. And yet you, Brother David, still keep that damn dog. Brother David, listen, Mrs. Linkhouse, please. He approaches. No, I will not have it. My Lord Winterborne, I demand justice. If you want to do this town some good, set these things aright.
Is it Lady or Miss Linkhouse?
This would be Mrs. Linkhouse.
Miss Linkhouse, could it and nothing against the story of the situation. Couldn't it just be the Baroness's age that could cause this? The Lord's
I think that's
father
what we should
was
investigate.
The Lord's father was in his late 60s when he passed.
I can speak for the Baroness. At this point, naturally, Sir Doktor Greystone. Dr. Greystone steps forward and he adjusts his glasses. I could speak very much for her well-being.
I think we're truly getting off subject here.
But it's fine.
Okay.
She was gifted with the gift of longevity. He says, kind of adjusting his glasses. It was only recently that she had taken a sick, and certainly it does line up when she was bitten by that damn dog. Yes.
Surely she would have recovered by now, being at what, 2 years ago?
The dog was rabid, and it was from across the river. You know what they say about dogs from the north.
So this is not the same dog that the brother keeps.
It is the same dog, she says.
Oh, well then...
You have still not answered for this, Brother David.
I am very confused at how a dog could...
Sometimes beasts carry disease in them, and they can transfer it to person. You see with rats all the time.
Agreed. We've seen that with dogs, but if it's rabid, It would show the signs.
It is not the only person who's been bitten in this village by the same dog. Tell me, Brother David. Where's Brother Aaron? Suddenly, the crowd begins to break out in this kind of raucous, kind of like disagreement. When she mentions Brother Aaron.
Who is Brother Aaron?
Please, please! Dendish is saying, everyone, calm down! Calm down! I call for quarter, call for order! Everyone's just kind of, at this point, kind of amid disagreement. Some people are walking out. Others are kind of like askance at what's happening. You all feel like you're kind of strangers in amid this kind of long set of quarrels you not quite yet understand.
Can I understand who this brother is? I mean,
Brother Aaron. Well, there's a disagreement between some of the people about Brother Aaron. Oh, poor Brother Aaron. He was so young to be taken. Where is Brother Aaron? He was never buried. What happened to Brother Aaron? Like a lot of disagreement
so
and conversation.
There's no real information, just rumors, basically.
Yeah.
So people, it sounds like this. We can do this in a better fashion.
You find that your voice is kind of drowned out amid the other 40, 50 people who remain here. They're all kind of amidst argument. This whole kind of gathering has kind of broke out in these smaller conversations and arguments and disagreements and agreements in some cases. Some people are outside now, and it looks like that whatever gathering was going to be had here in an orderly fashion has completely broken.
My lord, perhaps we should step outside for some fresh air. Get some distance.
I pound my swagger stick on the floor a couple times and yell, "Have some decorum!"
Jamison St. says, "Oh, I can stump too!" You can see St. Jamison kind of staggers back and Loag catches him. Jamison has already had too much to drink and it's only been an hour.
No?
I'd like to escort
Would you say he's suckered out?
I'd like to escort Lord Wesley out of the building and to safety.
Certainly.
We need to Secret Service him right out of here.
Mr. President, get down.
Yeah.
Once we get out of earshot, it seems she did this on purpose.
Yes.
It seems a sensitive subject.
No. She did this on purpose.
You were on a roll. She took you right off of it.
I don't think I ever got the ball rolling.
I guess I should say we were all on a roll.
I believe I fell quite flat on my face. It was thanks to many of you that, we got anything done.
Cole, to be quite clear here, you think that she intentionally joined the meeting to sour our relationship?
Obviously.
I think she has somewhat of a point. If this dog is still alive, then that means we can investigate.
The dog is nothing. The dog is her temperament to sow mistrust.
Between
How do
you
you not see this, my lord?
and Madame Krista, we can determine if this dog is actually the cause of these fits.
I feel that the tenor of the conversation up to that point was going rather well. Then she stepped in.
Well, it's true, but these people haven't often, as you can see, are quite divided. Right?
She completely changed the subject.
The gods damns about the dog. It's the barony that we need to worry about, and these people are at each other's throats. If we keep letting this happen, it's a dog.
If it's a conspiracy, as you quite so well like to think it is, Mr. Marius,
No.
then perhaps this dog is part of it.
What is the fucking dog doing? Is it bringing? It's sowing its discontent because it's biting people? No, the dog is not part of it. The dog is the focus for her to stir the crowd up, to divide the town. That is his power. That is their power.
That certainly isn't Cavendish. No one seemed to have any problem with him whatsoever.
What do you do, Sir Knight, when you want to win a battle? Do you let the enemy gather, or do you divide the forces?
True.
My lord, Madam Krista, am I wrong? The crowd turned instantly.
I am a simple woman.
No, you're
my
not.
inspector.
Please give me your point of view. The last thing you are is simple or a plain woman. We all know that at this point. You are a wise person. You are part of your Lord's council, and we need your advice.
I know that. I'll try to live up to that reputation if I can. I'm humbled, but I dare say she asked for justice from a dog, and
Exactly.
a dog cannot understand or atone for its actions as it is just a dog. But there is something that just strikes me, that manor home is most queer indeed.
Oh.
Something very, very suspicious happens there, and I don't believe that it requires any wisdom or insight to see that.
We will fade to black at this point as the night will go on.
Okay.
You will rest that evening, and the next morning comes.
Can I please move up?
Yeah, those who rested are now recuperated to unhindered. Those who were intoxicated do not.
So do we go to imperiled?
No, you don't move at all.
Okay.
The next morning, Tuck awakens with a rather bad headache, and he comes downstairs a bit later. You can see that he and Sir Harrison are a bit frazzled, and they're kind of to have some things on their mind as you come downstairs, Tuck.
Sir Harrison has a very big frown on his face, like he hasn't had his morning tea or coffee, and he had a horrible night, and he looks like you probably shouldn't even talk to him right now.
Assume that Tuck has been caught up on the situation. As you break your fast, you bring Tuck up to speed on what occurred last night.
Where do we go?
I would still like to talk with Brother Davis and see this monastery of theirs. And
well, wait a minute.
See if he's keeping a rabid dog on the grounds, maybe?
So you're telling me that
Damn dogs.
Loe's seen these Grolsteaders?
it seems that some of them have, yes.
When earlier we heard reports that nobody's seen the Grolsteaders except for Cavendish.
Mm-hmm.
So something doesn't add up there. I can't fucking remember who said it.
It's all right. I think we have some time. I do not believe we are in any sort of immediate rush, but
Are we? Miss Linkhouse, yesterday night, I think we have a prime opportunity here to interrogate her regarding her actions the previous evening.
part of me wants to believe that she just very deeply cares for my great aunt. I mean, she has kept her, well, up and running for the last 2 years, as you saw. The woman Jules, and, well, she's very much helpless.
You know what I think's me, Lord?
What's that?
You know what I think's me, Lord?
What's that?
I thinks she's in cahoots with, and he'll look around.
Are you about to say a naughty word?
No. He's not about to say a naughty word. He's realizing he's in a common room.
That dog is behind the window, like peeks
he
up
looks
and
for
then
the dog.
disappears.
He's looking for anyone that may be like listening in. So, are there any people around?
No.
Basically, okay. I think she's in cahoots with, what's his name? You know, that fancy fellow up on top of the hill.
Downing, Master Downing.
Yeah, he's not down the hill. He's up the hill. He's Mr. Upping, and I think she's in cahoots with him. I think she likes him, and I think that he's just waiting on her to die. I think he had something for her, but since she ain't got her facilities no more, he's just trying to, stay in, and he was all planning on taking over once she died, but then here you come along, and they ain't too happy about that. That's what I thinks. But what am I? I'm a simple folk.
If we can get a chance to talk to her away from Mr. Hugo Downing, perhaps we can learn a thing or two. He seems to speak up on her behalf every time we're in their presence at the manor.
I mean, I don't want to put her on a rack or anything. I mean, if you have questions, go for it. But I do not wish to, seriously interrogate her. I mean, she's been after the care of my...
If
they wanted my aunt dead, she'd be dead.
It's the stretch of the
it's
word,
so
yes.
simple to do.
It's a stretch of the word, yes.
No one's around. No one could prove it. They dress her up and they put her in the ground.
She seems...
No.
She seems want to sow discord between us and the villagers, and that is our primary goal here, to set up a relationship. Why is she going against us?
I thought she tried to help us out very much well. She said that we were the reason that my aunt is still alive right now.
No, my lord. And if they wanted you, why would they want your aunt dead? If your aunt dies, you take over. With your aunt alive, they are still in power. You take over, you fire Master Hugo. You could do that instantly.
I could fire any of you instantly. Doesn't mean that you all are planning to stab me in the back, are you?
My lord, you're not getting the grasp of this. I'm not.
You know us. You don't know them.
You don't know this man.
Indeed, that's why I plan to make to know them rather than crucify them sight unseen.
Well, look,
that's not what I'm saying. If you wanted to retain power and you were Hugo Downing, what would be the way to do it? Have somebody
through his expertise in legalese.
Exactly.
Wigglewese. What?
Yeah. Yes.
But to add to what I think the inspector is so desperately trying to get across to you, Lord Wesley, is that that's all technical stuff. They're ruling by proxy through your aunt, hanging on to her life, and so what he's trying to get across is that they want her to stay alive. Not because whether it's because they love her or because they want to maintain the power or both, it doesn't matter.
I'm going to go with the power because I am a man and I seek the same thing. We all do when it comes down to it.
Besides,
I would say that we all desire respect. And we all go about it different ways. Some think that respect can come from fear, some through money, some through other things. But essentially, it's all the same.
As a lord, that makes sense. As a man of less means, power is the way that most people see you.
Besides, that Linkhouse, she's a looker. And did you see how she was dressed when we first came? Wearing a dress that was above the knees.
She certainly wouldn't sit right with the people around here.
Depending on the chair, having a dress that high wouldn't sit well with anyone. I'm sorry, that joke was crass and inappropriate.
So do you understand them keeping your aunt alive is actually beneficial for them?
I can see that, yes.
And you are a detriment to them?
Potentially, if they are of such ill intent, yes. That's why I keep you around, Mr. Marius.
I think we're all seeing this. It's just is where do we go next? I think you hit the best vein.
Well, speculation's just speculation until you have proof. So I agree with the both of you. And as far as the being able to question Maude, that's a great idea, sir. Would have been an even better idea last night before she went and trekked back on up to the barony there. So
well, things got a little jumbled together, so to speak.
Well,
we lost track of her.
I would have said something, but I was too busy setting up an expectation of the people. It was that I'm not around her nights because I'm too busy being drunk. That's what I was doing.
Well played, Tuck.
Yeah, it was all planned.
Achieved.
How many experience points do you get for that?
So,
you've discovered the edge of the latrine. 50 experience points.
That is the clue. You may throw up here any day.
You have converted to the porcelain god.
That's right.
But your thought to go see the brother. Did anybody else notice the power he seemed to wield here? Yes. The faith is very strong in this area.
Indeed.
I would think that him as an ally would vastly improve our ability to discuss openly with these people.
I think we have him as one.
I think we do too, but I think it needs to be segmented and not from us, but from our Lord.
Proof, not speculation.
this is a different subject, but I'm putting together the pieces that you told me. So, Sir Jamison St. James. He's not one got a sword, but he's wearing armor, and they's okay with it. And another thing. Now, you'd know, because you's a knight. When you's a knight, don't you serve someone? Aren't you a knight of someone?
Certainly. Much like our relationship with the Lord here.
Who's he a knight of?
It's a very good question.
Right. Well,
Barony, perhaps?
Let's pause here. We need to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
It's 9:30.
Oh.
So let's take 5 and then resume.